act. Living in the limelight, the universal dream for those who wish to see. Those who wish to be must put aside the alienation. Get on with the fascination, the real relation, the underlying theme.
Oh my god, I screwed it up. What is going on, you guys? Fico here, and I just saw the alert just say, oh no, wait a minute. It's get ready for, and it's like off center. So I have to fix that. But it's a work in progress. How are you doing, everybody? And welcome to the LiveCast, everybody. Welcome Saturday night. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And joining us today is my new friend, the Samson MBA28. I will talk about that in a little bit. So for starters, before we begin, I just have a couple of things to go to. I have noted them down. So basically, for starters, I'm getting another schedule change. Before, when I was used to stream these things early in the morning, I was able to stream, I think it was like a couple of hours before going to work, but then they put me on a shift where I had to come in earlier. So then I started streaming in the evenings. Well, now my schedule is going back a little bit to the way it was. I'm going to be doing 11:30 a.m. in the morning to 8 p.m. So that means I'm going back to streaming the days. I'm going to be streaming during the mornings. My goal is to stream every morning at around 8 a.m. So just take the time you have currently and subtract it or whatever. Just go to a world clock. I'm sorry. I can't translate everybody. So anyway, so I'm going to be streaming now in the mornings. The live cast is still on Wednesday and on Sunday. I'm not sure whether to do them at 10 or 11, but I think I'm going to leave them at 11 because I noticed that a lot of people came in later on. And when I was finishing, all of a sudden, everybody started showing up. And I was thinking, I was like, maybe we'll just leave it at around 11. So I'm thinking to start the live cast an hour later. So now on Wednesdays, I'm going to do the live cast at 8 a.m. because I have to be at work a couple of hours later. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is that at the end of the show, I'm going to talk about this baby here. And also, if you notice that there was a little countdown animation going on, I'm going to share with you guys a video that'll show you exactly how you could do your own countdown timer, and it goes into much more detail. So it obviously is a work in progress. So everybody, welcome. Everybody who's watching, welcome. And what those of you who have not joined us here before, basically this show is we talk about stuff that's happening around in the world of gaming. I do impressions on the news that's happening, announcements, things that gaming companies have done, and also video impressions of a couple of things that we are going to, like sometimes there's a YouTube video that I want to watch and we'll discuss it together. However, today, if you guys have already seen the title of this video, it's not going to be exactly a good introduction, as we want to talk about I know I've just ruined your day. I'm sorry, but I kind of want to talk about this because while you go to a Twitch stream to get fun and get released, don't worry, the fun is coming. But I do think we have to talk about this because yet again, video games are put into some degree of the limelight. So as you know, on Valentine's Day of all days, there was a shooting that occurred in Parkland, Florida. Now, this is around Fort Lauderdale. My brother, he lives around Coral Springs. That's not that far away from Fort Lauderdale. So he is probably a lot closer to what's going on. And what happened was that there was a 19-year-old that went into the school. It was Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. And for now, it's been tallied that it's about 17 people. And unfortunately, this is one of the worst shootings that occurred, and it's still getting tons of coverage. Now, I am under the opinion that I think the least amount of time that you spend talking about a tragedy like this, the better. And that's why I'm not going to focus on who the shooter was, who were the victims, and anything like that, because I think that when you have a tragedy like this sort of amplifies it. It kind of makes the people that that are thinking about doing this doing even more, because there's all this attention that you could benefit from getting. If you're a guy who is reclusive, a guy who's being bullied on, and you're like, I want my moment in the sun, I want retribution, whatever. Well, you get the news cycle constantly give you this attention. Now, that's not what I want to focus on right now. And as terrible as that tragedy is, and I do wish condolences on everybody, on everyone. Unfortunately, there are assholes like this individual who are once again doing what always happens in the ecosphere of these tragic events. This is how a tragedy like this happens. The tragedy happens, the news covers it continuously, like all day. And of course, somewhere along the line, you're going to get to someone blaming video games for this whole thing, because of course, one of the most popular things that we do is play video games. So of course, it would stand to logical reason that somebody playing video games would definitely be one of these perpetrators. But no, apparently, according to people like this guy, Matt Bevin, who is the governor of Kentucky, he says that video games are partially responsible for the mass shootings that killed 17 people and wounded 14 more. This is from Kotaku. This is Ethan Gach. I don't know. But anyway, we're going to read this article a little bit here, because I think that Mr. Saturnite and whoever else is watching, I think we do need to discuss this. And I'm going to give you guys my reasons why he blames video games. He blames video games because he doesn't want to link people that are partnered with him, like people like in the gun industry. There's people who blame the government. Obviously, he's a part of the work in the government, so clearly this sort of thing is normal. I mean, like, what happened? How did this happen? Why didn't anybody do anything? Why aren't they metal detectors in these schools? Why aren't they? No. It's not our fault. It's developers that make video games that are the problem. Now, I'm going to read it and I'm going to react. So enjoy. Guns are not the problem. We have a cultural problem in America. He had a conversation on the Leland Conway show. It was noted by the site called Ars Technica. Good job of misspelling Technica. Now, the governor went on to cite other factors he believed to be responsible for the dramatic increase of mass shootings, which includes mental illness and side effects of prescribed medications, which I actually do agree. There is an issue with mental illness that happens. And that, I think, if Matt had just stayed there, if Matt Bevin had just stayed there and focused on that, then I would have been in more agreement with him. Unfortunately, what he says next is kind of irresponsible, I think. So this is what my boy. No, I'm sorry. He'll never be my boy. He says that he also pointed at America's society having lost its moral compass before arriving at video games, violent video games, and the culture of death he believes they help celebrate. Oh boy. I can't wait till hear the evidence he has on this. Okay, there are video games that yes, are listed for mature audiences, but kids play them and everybody knows it, and there's nothing to prevent the child from playing them. They celebrate the slaughtering of people. There are games that literally replicate and give people the ability to score points for doing the very same thing that these students are doing inside these schools, where you get extra points for finishing someone who's lying there begging for their life. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, the evidence that Matt Bevin hasn't played a single video game once in his life. Now, how do I know this? Because he uses the same exact argument that every politician uses that wants to blame video games for a tragedy. You're literally video games out there that replicate exactly what this guy did at that school, and you're awarded points, and you get to see people suffer as well too. Except that, aside from maybe a free game or a game that was designed at some website somewhere, some obscure location everywhere, there is literally no major game out there that puts you in the role of a person who's going to commit a shooting spree at a school. There are games that have shooting sprees at an airport, which is in a video game in Call of Duty. That is true. But you're not awarded points. This is just a thing to progress the story. So, honestly, the fact that you're even talking about gaining points, a thing that has been just irrelevant for so long, just shows me and shows everybody watching and shows everybody that's reading this article that you have no idea what video games are. But wait, how about that slaughtering of people, celebrating the slaughtering of people? Do we as gamers enjoy killing people in real life, or we celebrate this? Do we go, outta there, outta boy, oh my god, I can't believe you did great, man. You killed all those kids just like I did in that game, man. That you took it to the next level. No, of course not. That is completely stupid. We do not celebrate real acts of violence. Violent games are just fun to play. I'm sorry. They're not meant for people who are mentally deranged. They're meant for people who just want to have fun. And yes, they're realistic and violent, but that does not make you susceptible to go out there and guess what? We're going to get to the reasons, because I found something there for 25 studies that show that Matt Bevin is full of crap, and I think he knows it. Of course, there are a bunch of quotes from Mr. Bevin. These are quote unquote video games, and they're forced down our throats under the guise of protected speech. It's garbage. It's the same as pornography. They have desensitized people to the value of human life, to the dignity of women, to the dignity of human decency. Wow. I would love to hear the evidence that you have that this is a thing. Let's go over everything he said in that is absolutely wrong. First of all, video games are not being shoved down your throat. You haven't played a single video game all your life. You're just mad that people are playing video games all over, and you don't know why they're popular. People just need something to blame as a justification for convincing their ways and ideology. And I bet that Matt Bevin from Kentucky is very, very, very conservative. And he's heard all his life from his preachers that video games are evil, that video games are satanic, that video games are bad for you. And I see that as well too. Have you or I or Hellspawner or Necri or anyone on Twitch gone on real sprees? No. So they're being forced down your throat. No. Nobody is forcing anybody to play these video games. These video games are being played by people that like video games. They're under the guise of protected speech. It's garbage. Yes, it is protected because it's been declared that video games are a freedom of expression, and it's also an art piece, a piece of art, and they're artistic, and they involve creativity, and no government can come and tell you how you should be living your life. It is part of the rules. It is part of protected speech. Yes, just like what you're saying right now, it's protected under protected speech. It's not the same as pornography. And guess what? Pornography does not desensitize you from treating women with respect. Just like video games, it's just for fun. You are not losing, you're not getting devalue, you're not, I'm getting mad. Okay, hold on. Hold on. I do not think that human lives are being devalued because of video games. I don't think that women's dignity are getting devalued, especially in pornography, when they choose that they want to be a part of pornography. They're the ones that are making the decision of going and getting naked in front of a camera. They know it's for adult entertainment. They know that is what they're getting paid to do. They consent to this. Nobody is doing pornography unwillingly. I mean, there are really bad things that sometimes happen, but honestly, no, just like video games, we do not lose our sense of humanity. We do not treat women any less with less respect. We don't lose the dignity for human decency. In fact, it's just like Mr. Saturday Night just say. I'm glad that he thinks this. It's that, and I'm pretty sure everybody on Twitch can agree with me and say that this does not make you a terrible person. In fact, it just blows off steam. Yes, it causes you to get aggressive. You saw my Cuphead stream. It releases aggression. And you know why it makes you aggressive? Because these chemicals that increase your aggression and cause you feel rage, that's all natural, built inside your body. The games are not putting these things inside of your body. These are built in you. You'll feel rage about anything. Driving down from one street to the other, if something gets into your way, you're going to feel exactly the same way. Are we going to outlaw cars because they make you get mad? Really? Spawner! What is going on, my friend? I am yelling about this. I am yelling about this man. This man that is saying that you are a violent, aggressive person who hates women and hates humanity because you play video games. And he's basically teal deer. This guy thinks that video games are what caused that school shooting that happened this past Wednesday. So, but we are not going to go all the way back and cover all of that. So he asked if he was calling for violent video games ban or just urging parents to pay more attention. It says, oh yeah, Saturday Night kind of nails it. Video games are bad and everyone becomes a horrible person if you play violent games. I think we need to start having an honest question about what value any of these things have. This is the answer. What the fuck does that have to do with games? Also, even women play video games. Okay, because the context of what I said was, it was a comment that he said about how video games are the same as pornography. And then he said they have desynthesized people to the value of human life, to the dignity of women, and to the dignity of human decency. The context behind that is that he thinks that video games are just like pornography. They make us oblivious to the violence that happens in the real world, just like how pornography, in his mind, makes us think less of women. And of course, that's not true in the slightest. But this is a guy who's never played a video game in his life. So, and then they ask him if he's kind of wondering what the value of video games are. Yeah, I know, he's absolutely sick. But basically, he wonders the value of video games are. And you know what the value is? If you don't like video games, you don't have to play them. But you know what? Video games are a multi-billion-dollar industry that generates jobs, that generates great creative outlets to vent frustration. And guess what? They are not causing these issues in the world at all. At all. But guess what? He says this: why do we need a video game, for example, that encourages people to kill people? Whether it's lyrics, whether it's TV shows, whether it's movies, I'm asking for the producers of these products, these video games, and these movies, ask yourselves, what redemptive value, other than shock value, other than the hope you'll make a couple of bucks off it, at what price? Well, thank you, Spawner. Thank you very much. Thank you for hosting. Okay, so Mr. Bevan, I'm not going to call you governor. Mr. Bevan is saying, what is the value of a video game? Oh, because it encourages you to kill violent people, just like how lyrics are telling you to fuck bitches, or how movies or how video games. But you know what? That is all to tell a story. That is all to give us the chance to be a different thing, a different person, something inside of a video game. They're meant for you to have fun. Just like when you go to a movie, you're meant to go see these movies that are violent to have an experience, because art is like that. It's not supposed to be the same way. Video games are just another medium to show a certain type of art and entertainment. Yes, it is. And guess what? This guy is honestly, at least I'm not like you, bro, hosting me and then leaving without saying hello. Spawner, I had to set up my own stuff. I was recording a couple of things. I saw that you were live. I didn't say hello because I was kind of busy at the moment, but I was changing the descriptions and I saw while you were there, I just hosted you. So my apologies. I couldn't stick around to watch you long enough, so I am a bad person. I'm sorry. But back to the subject. Yes. So Mr. Bevan wants people to tell people what they should and shouldn't be doing, because in his mind, apparently, you have to control what people watch and say, so that way bad things don't happen in his mind. So it continues on by saying that his rationale for blaming video games and other media was that guns hadn't changed while our culture has. Okay, this is going to be great. The gun is not the problem. When we were young, people after Christmas would bring their guns to school and show it off to their friends. That doesn't make what happened. What does that have to do with anything? You just made the point. You just made the point that guns in itself are the problem, but why are video games the problem? Oh, back then there weren't any video games, but now there are video games. Therefore, now when people bring guns to school, they're used and they're shot. It couldn't have anything to do with the fact that the culture is different, and back then things were a lot more stricter, and that now bullying is a thing and mental illness goes unchecked, and that people are getting bullied and tormented and abandoned, and then they take it out on the people that are just going to school. No, that couldn't possibly be it. Not at all. No way. Of course not. And also, when it's easier for somebody to buy a gun to make these things, guns are the problem. I myself, I'm not against people owning guns, but at the same time, if they're so easy for people to get there, then gun safety is not there at all. But anyway, this is just another typical person. This asshole. This is just another guy who's trying to score points with people that think that video games are the problem, and that they want people to agree with him. This is all about him, this douchebag, trying to blame video games. But guess what? We have a present for Mr. Bevan, as there have been 25 video game studies. I'm not going to read them all, but I'm going to read just a few, because this is an older piece. Because guess what? Around when Sandy Hook occurred, they were blamed as well. And guess what? They go all the way back to 1984, and they were quizzed. Yes, in 1984, about 250 students were quizzed, and then they said that physical aggression was related to arcade video game playing, which all this is saying is, hey, guess what? When you play video games, it makes you a little more aggressive. Guess what? Everything makes you aggressive. There's no proof in this study that the video games made you do anything. Personality, psychopathology, and developmental issues in male adolescent video games use. 208 teenage males reported their experiences. Video games have a calming effect, and the boys used them for the purpose of discharge. Hey, Saturday Night, remember when you said that people were playing video games with the blowing off steam? In 1985, they were saying the exact same thing. Messages of video games and social implications. In 1986, 11 to 16-year-old boys were surveyed in relation to video game consumption. Some relation was found between boys who played video games and aggressive attitude. Yes, you get a little aggressive because you play video games, because video games challenge you and they make you feel aggressive. Effects of the game player, short-term effects of highly and mildly aggressive video games in 1986. It was observed that the more aggressive game led to higher levels of hostility and anxiety, but had no effect on depression. Let's scroll down a little more here, shall we? 1995, there was no linear pattern in aggressive effect change across 3 games that contained varying levels of violence. Playing Mortal Kombat 2, the more violent game, led to the higher scores in both cardiovascular activity and aggression. Not violent thoughts, just normal effects of the body. Yes, you do feel some form of this. So bottom line is that all of these studies, they show that yes, they do make you a little more aggressive, but no, they do not make you into a more violent person. You are not going to go out there and commit a spree. You are not going to go out there and commit murder. You're not going to go out there and rape people. You're not going to go out there. The video games do not have the ability to do that. And for Mr. Matt Bevan, honestly, there were cases where a person got way involved with a game that he went on killing spree thinking that he was a COD game fantasy, but that's because he's just mental. Yes, exactly. And that's a thing that a lot of people like to do. Oh, there was that one guy that, well, yes, when you are a person who unfortunately suffers from mental illness, if you are exposed to these sort of games, it affects you differently to somebody else. Hey, there are people out there that commit things because their dog told them to do it. There's people that literally went on killing sprees because they heard voices. Movies, I mean, this is what Mr. Bevan said. He's just trying to blame culture, not guns. Not like he's a big gun advocate or anything. No, he's trying to use. Oh no, it's not our fault. It's your fault that this is happening. Yes, culture has changed. It's gotten we seem to be more desensitized to it, but that's just mainly because we just exposed to it all the time. But that's still not making me more likely to be a murderer. I still care more about people. I play video games more now than I have recently, and I don't feel the need to kill anybody ever. So to put it into this topic, I'm just going to say that it is unfortunate. It is unfortunate about what happened in Parkland. My brother lives very close to Parkland. He lives in Coral Springs, or this is in Fort Lauderdale, and unfortunately, this is just the reality. There are going to be sick people who are going to be out there, who are going to feel abandoned, who are going to feel like there is no chance to get any semblance of a normal life. And they think that this is the way to get all that attention back, to get all of that that he missed. And unfortunately, that's not the case. That's never going to be the case. And we are never going to change unless we do something about it. And the government still, rather than just actually do something, they just engage in, oh no, that's not our fault. That's not guns' fault. It's video games' fault. It's the movie's fault. It's the kids that picked on him. Well, you know what? I don't care whose fault or what's fault it is. Just do something. But as you could see, these things happen every year, it seems. We have one of these, and they're going to keep happening, and we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to go around the circle. We're going to pray. People are going to pray. People are going to express their frustrations on Facebook. The politicians are not going to do anything, and then it's going to go away, and then another one's going to happen again, and the same thing. And you know what? It'll always happen. Video games will continue to be blamed. They'll dig up this corpse of a fucking horse that has been decomposed. There's no bones on this thing left. They'll dig them up. They'll take the little fragments of that horse that's left, and they'll sprinkle them onto your screen. I was like, hey, you know what? Video games cause violence here. And also a big fuck you to Governor of Kentucky, Matt Bevin. Go fuck yourself. But that's going to be it. Let's talk a little more about something a little less depressing, and I think this will make everybody happy. And this is a article by PC Gamer. That's CD Projekt Red is responding to loot box controversy, which is saying that if you buy a fully priced game, you should get a big polished piece of content. Now, he did propose, there was this article where Adam Kaczynski proposed that the 2000 Cyberpunk 2077, there's even scientific research that said that video games help the brain and intelligence. Yes, it has calming effects. Video games are good. Video games are good. I wonder if the one crashing the truck into Christmas festival here in Berlin, holy fucking shit, that was horrible. That had nothing to do with video games. But you know what? You lead Matt Bevin and he'll tell you that that was what it was. And video games do have a good positive effect. I'm going to leave the link for these because yes, because one of the articles, one of the studies said that it even provided calming effects when you were playing video games. I mean, when you play video games, do you feel like you just want to go out there and kill and murder people? When I'm playing a game like Cuphead, do I feel like I want to? Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that Cuphead is a game that makes me get calm. No. But there are some games that do. There are games like Stardew Valley, like Animal Crossing, like Tetris. You know, games that have an ambience that just calms down. Hell, even walking simulators that I don't even consider them to be like video games are considered games that I would consider them as calming you. But anyway, there were suggestions about going into including online elements, which I think a lot of people thought that they were going to start introducing loot boxes. So this is what the head of CD Projekt Red said. Conversation sounds way too nice to describe what was happening last year, and I would rather call it community backlash. And this time around, it wasn't just the hardcore community. There was a lot of really pissed off gamers out there, and they decided to speak up. Where we stand is quite simple, and you could see it in all of our past releases, most recently with Witcher 3 Wild Hunt and Gwent. If you buy a fully priced game, you should get a big polished piece of content that gives you many hours of fun gameplay. The definition of many Many may vary to a title by title basis, but in our case, it was always 50 to 60 hours of the main storyline with up to a couple of hundred hours of side activities if you really wanted to max out the title. To me, this is a fair deal. You get what you pay for, plus we are always trying our best to over deliver. There is no better PR than a happy gamer recommending your title to their friends. But you blow up your rage in the game, not people outside. Never saw someone killing people because of failing Cuphead against the flower boss, or the robot, or the devil, or the devil, or the devil, or the devil, or the devil. Or the Dice King. Oh my god, those two were incredible. The above covers there's additional paid content, what we call expansions, things like add-ons way back in the Baldur's Gate era. We released 2 expansions like that, and each of them was a meaningful piece of content delivering many hours of new story and gameplay. Finally, there are DLCs. For us, there are small pieces of content which should be available for free. Thank you. Above covers full prices, then there's the free-to-play territory. Here we have Gwent, where you can buy card kegs and some vanity items. Again, the deal is simple. You can play the game for free and craft your desired card collection this way, or decide to spend money and card kegs. The choice is yours, and the only thing you pay for is time and convenience. The moment they feel you've reached out of their wallet in any unfair way, they will be vocal about it. And frankly speaking, I think it's good for the industry. Things often look great from a spreadsheet perspective, but decision makers often aren't asking themselves the question, how would gamers feel, or is this offer a fair one? Yes, 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 yes. Thank you. Thank you. You see, Electronic Arts, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. But, you know, when you get the loot box controversy, there was a while back where I think CD Projekt Red had even mentioned something about online components. All of a sudden, everybody was starting to get worried that they were going to start doing loot boxes. And I was like, oh God, oh no. And then they were like, no, we're not going to do that. We're just going to offer you as much content as possible when you buy our games. And that's it. You are completely up to you. The expansions are completely optional. They're not going to be stuff that's locked away from the main game's content, just like how the 2 expansions in The Witcher 3 were. They did not collide with Wild Hunt. So if you, Andrew Wilson, would just have a conversation one day with the CEO of CD Projekt Red, you could stand to learn everything you're doing wrong. But anyway, the next subject, I don't know if it matters, but this is for you streamers out there that are thinking of maybe incorporating Steam broadcasts. Well, apparently they're working on RTMP streaming for stream broadcast, which will allow you to incorporate XSplit and OBS. So really, when you could only stream from Steam, it's basically that you could only stream using the actual application itself, but now you could use applications themselves to stream onto actual Twitch. So that's okay. Actually, that's pretty good. I'm not sure if Steam has enough of a presence for people to be streaming there, to be watching streams there. I think Twitch is the place to do it, but regardless, it's still good, giving you options. I wish that Gabe would give us Half-Life 3 someday. Sorry for blowing your ears, everybody. But anyway, unfortunately, we're back to bad news as Hangar 13 has experienced layoffs. This is from Kotaku, from Jason Schreier. And he says that Hangar 13 had laid off a significant amount of staff today. This was on Thursday, and publisher 2K has actually confirmed this. 2K can confirm that there has been staff reductions at Hangar 13 in order to ensure that the studio's resources are properly aligned with its long-term development plans. These reductions will not influence 2K's ability to create and deliver its products that are currently in development. We never take these matters lightly and are working with the affected employees to support them and explore potential opportunities throughout our organization. Now, Hangar 13 is based in Novato, California, and has spent the past year prototyping as it tried to figure out its next project. There was a potential thing. There was an idea in which was a third-person action game with a fight-to-music system. It kind of sounds like Crypt of the Necromancer. But there you go. Hangar 13. It made Mafia 3, which was not received all too well. And Steam getting into Switch. You know what? I'll allow you to say that. Yeah, okay, why not? The mod itself. You know what? I wouldn't mind another Left 4 Dead game and another Team Fortress. But come on. With Overwatch, do you really think that another Team Fortress is going to be successful? Maybe, but we'll see. But anyway, if as I said, I don't think this will matter too much, but for those of you who do that, hey, there's the option. Now, another piece of loot box information is that apparently this is from IGN. There's a US senator that's asking the ESRB to change game rating process in regards to loot boxes. Oh, I would love a Portal game. I want a Half-Life game because I have loved the Half-Life series for a very long time, but I love Portal. I do love Team Fortress, and I wouldn't mind another Left 4 Dead game. I would want one of those games to be there, but obviously Half-Life is the one that they just keep teasing with. But anyway, back to the news. It says that according to Brian Barnett, it says that there is a U.S. senator by the name of Maggie Hassan, who is from New Hampshire, who just issued a letter to the ESRB outlining her concerns with microtransactions and also loot boxes. Now, the senator has also expressed concerns during a Senate Commerce, Science, and Transportation Committee hearing, in which also questioned nominees to be Federal Trade Commission commissioners if they would be willing to take a closer look at video game addiction and loot boxes. And now, obviously, there's a little bit of a video here. Obviously, they're talking about gaming disorder. We've already talked about how, all right, Spawner, we'll be here. We're talking about how sometimes there is a thing as there's this gaming disorder, which I just think it just has to do more with gambling addiction, because they make it so that it feels more like it's gambling. So, but there's a video here that has her talking about in-game purchases. Talk about what I said when I come back. All right. But anyway, this is an article which is just kind of going over a couple of lawmakers which has proposed the bills, stuff that we talked about. But there is a video here that features the senator talking to, I think it was the World Health Organization update, which talked about gaming disorder, which is a diagnosable disorder, which I am very, very curious about. But I'm going to leave the video here so y'all could watch it later. But anyway, yes, we will thank, we should love to thank EA once again for causing all this to happen. You guys abused it. You guys took advantage of all of this, and now you guys have to pay the piper. You have to pay the price. So, good job. This thumbs up, two thumbs up for you. Okay, I gotta get used to this thing. But anyway, let's continue And we've been talking a little bit about BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle, about how they were going to be pricing all of their DLC, about how almost everything was going to be behind a paywall. But anyway, there are a couple of questions that have been answered. Now, it says that obviously there were a couple of things here, like Cross Tag Battle will have a full English track and dual audio option. We already knew that the Ruby girls were going to be voiced by the actual actresses. The rest of the casts featuring English voice acting, marking the debut of Under Night in Birth in English, as well as newcomers from BlazBlue. Now, the pricing is... The retail price for the physical and the digital is $50. Every individual DLC pack, which is 6, costs $5. The whole bundle is going to be $19.99. The deluxe edition is going to feature all of the DLC for $70. So basically what we're seeing is the retail price is $50. And then you put in an extra $30. That puts it up to almost $80. If you get the whole pack with the game, it's $60. And then if you get the whole game with all the DLC, it costs $70. So this will be your best way to go. Now, the first DLC pack is going to include Kanji, Ori, and Platinum the Trinity, which is supposed to be free for everyone 2 weeks after launch, which is kind of weird. Why would you be giving away DLC? And which is I find it strange. Just include it in the game. And of course, Yang and Blake, which are DLC, are going to be free to download. Again, why do you not include them in the game already? Why do you give us this illusion that this game is just going to be like absolutely free? All that stuff is going to be in the game, but then you make us still get the game, and the characters are not there. It just seems very strange. Now, the game is expected to release on June the 5th in the US. It's going to be out on PC, the Switch, and the PlayStation 4. Now, back here, they do talk a little bit about the controversy. This is from Destructoid. A little bit more. And there is the controversy, which basically goes into all of this as well. And when told that Ark's message was fault out of the gate, then the actual person in charge of that game, I'm trying to find his name. Toshimichi Mori. I am in total agreement. We have been making efforts to make the price accessible for everyone, but we should have communicated it a lot more clearly, though, so we didn't have this misunderstanding. Our first mistake was announcing Blake as DLC before saying they were free. What should have happened is that we should have said Blake is coming as a DLC for free. No, what you should have said was Blake is included in the game, not put her as DLC. Why would you make DLC that you're going to download later for free anyway? Just put her in your game when this game comes out. It makes more sense if you just say, hey, included in this game is Blake Belladonna. She's in the game. She's not going to be a downloadable character you have to pay to get. Not, hey, you're getting this character for free, but you still have to download it anyway. Weird. Mr. Bonebreaker! Welcome! Welcome, welcome, welcome. What is up, my friend? What is up is I have a new boom arm. I have a new boom arm. I'm still figuring it out. As you could see, right now it's kind of like in the middle. You could still see me pretty well, but obviously I have this all set up now. It's a lot less echoey now. Although it is hey. It is still covering my face a little bit, so but anyway, I am working on positions, obviously, but so far I love this thing. I could still type, I could see the screen, and I think that's what matters the most. Because because the games are finished and they can't modify the game to include the characters. You see, that makes a little more sense. I just wish that they said that, because he says because of so many events late last year and early this year, we wanted to announce things little by little. Unfortunately, the first announcement was muddled. We said Blake was DLC, but we should have announced it all at once. That caused confusion, and Arc is very sorry for that. You just can't say that your production line stops the production. We want to include the new character. That's true. So they may not have had her ready to go on right away. So, but it's just so weird that what I would have said is like, okay, just keep the production going. Now, they also took an opportunity to ask what was the current state of DLC, and he said, for me, DLC can present a bit of a surprise for gamers. It also helps games to survive. It also helps games to survive the long term, but at the same time, not everyone is going to agree and understand what the developer thinks. From the development side, it's hard to convince everyone, but if we listen to everyone, we'll go bankrupt. So what we can do is try to design DLC in a way where more people are understanding about it, which is basically all that we could do. I do agree with some people that DLC should be in the game to begin with, but thinking about the business side business side isn't always the case. So he's just basically saying, without the DLC, we'd be bankrupt. We couldn't do this. Yo, excuse me, I have to go outside and assaulting random homeless people because I saw it in Hellspawner stream doing it. Oh, Mr. Bonebreaker, we were just talking about the latest tragedy that happened this past week in Florida, and there was this the governor of Kentucky was blaming video games, and this is what we were talking about earlier. So I'm gonna actually highlight that whole section and put it in the highlights. So, but the conclusions is nothing. It's nothing that you and I don't all already know. But if you want to catch that early part, you could definitely go ahead. Oh, no problem, man. No problem. Thanks for letting me know. Sorry for not saying hi earlier as well, too. I'm Mr. Spawner. I went in to change a couple of things in the stream. I didn't actually mean to go in, but I figured while I was there, I shared stream. But anyway, we also have I think we have another article from them explaining the whole thing. This is him saying stuff that Guilty Gear says that the Switch might not be a good match for the series, but the team is working on it, which is he's saying that this is more stuff about the cross tag battle, which basically he's saying this like a brief let's see. That's a really good question. One of the goals for Guilty Gear is achieving high quality graphics, especially on that point. The Nintendo Switch might not be a good match, but that is not our final conclusion. We are still working on it. And this is kind of like addressing, because Guilty Gear is much more graphics heavy. These are 3D models that are looking cel shaded to look like 2D hand drawn models, while in the game, the cross tag battle is hand drawn, so that's a little less taxing. So a ton of Arc system stuff coming in. I am happy that they are talking more about the games, the DLC, having a little more transparency. I do think the way that you did it was wrong, Arc. You guys should have been transparent with this early. If you guys weren't ready to announce something, I probably should have just not done that. But anyway, Mr. Bonebreaker, we were talking about that. We're talking about microtransactions a little bit. We were talking about CD Projekt Red on how they're addressing it, and they are doing excellent, I might add. They're not including loot boxes. They're not going to curse you with microtransactions. They believe that the game should be overblown with content to give you more stuff. And guess what? They're the example that shows that these companies that say that we need to make the DLC to survive, or we need to make the microtransactions in order to make a profit and to do all that, that's all a bold-faced lie. Because while the Witcher 3 had expansions, they were completely optional. They were completely optional, and they didn't take away from the game. And that game became successful, and it funded and it put the Warsaw Poland company like on the map. They're doing great. So don't buy to what all these people are telling you. You can make a game without any of these things, and it will still be successful. But they want to convince you that that a $60 game isn't gonna make them profit. Yeah, okay. But yes, once again, we talk about another Arc System game, which is Dragon Ball FighterZ, which talk about them, including characters Broly and Bardock. In case you don't know, Broly's the legendary Super Saiyan that wants to kill Kakarot, aka Goku, because when they were kids, he cried so much that he never let him sleep. Yes, that is literally the motivation for one of the strongest fighters in the universe of Dragon Ball to kill Goku. He wouldn't let him sleep as a kid, as a baby. Okay. And then there's Goku's dad, Bardock, who had his own movie, which basically had a premonition about Goku being the one to stop Frieza, and then sent him away. And basically he got killed along with the rest of his race thanks to Frieza. But he's going to be in the game. There's no word on when he's going to get released. Any of these are going to get released. These are part of a DLC pack of characters that are going to be released. Again, I don't know why they do this. They should just release all the games with all of the content. Now, let's change the subject a little bit. Have you ever played a game that you gave up on initially, only to come back and love them? Well, there's a Redditor who posted this very same question. And he says, this is written by Fahad Freed, says, I remember being super excited for The Surge when it initially came out. Embodied at day one. I liked it initially, but it got pretty repetitive and I was not liking the weapon choices. Fast forward a few weeks and I gave the game another try, only to fall in love with the game's combat system and Dark Souls-like maze environments. It could also be pretty creepy at times with the vent sections and certain enemies in the R&D section. The audio logs and also good way to tell a story and keep you on your toes for most of the game. Moreover, the developers clearly took criticism in the difficulty to heart and reduced the base BS difficulty in some areas. Hell, even the DLC is pretty solid and worth a buy. This is the complete opposite of something like Neo, where the difficulty is complete BS and they only made the game more difficult with the DLC. So, Mr. Bonebreaker, has there been a game that you played initially that didn't tickle your fancy and then you fell in love with it? In my example, I would have to say the games that I've been playing recently, I'd say there was a game that I played, I'd say Dark Souls. It's funny because this person talks about The Surge. Well, Dark Souls is actually a game where I thought that the difficulty was so BS. I was dying so much. It was getting frustrated. But then I started watching a couple of videos. I started watching a couple of people play. And then I started playing Dark Souls 3. And then I realized this is great. I love this. So Dark Souls is one of those games that undoubtedly is a game that is filled with difficulty. but then eventually it just kind of grows on you. Believe it or not, BioShock was a game that I initially played. I actually love BioShock, but I kind of dropped it, where I think it was just, I was just so focused on another game. And I didn't understand. I was getting killed so much in that game. I don't know if I was just misusing the atom. I don't know if I was just not doing a whole bunch of stuff that I was supposed to be doing in that game. But then eventually I came back, beat it, and obviously fell in love with the BioShock series, along with BioShock Infinite, which I absolutely adore that game. Games like XCOM. Actually, XCOM was a game that I kind of found the style of it a little frustrating, but I eventually went back to XCOM, and I actually really, really like it. I stopped playing it recently, but I am going to go back to playing XCOM. I think I might actually stream XCOM later in a future date, but there are a couple of games, and I think it's just because you don't see the appeal. You're kind of just taken by the many things that the difficulty kind of does to you, or just kind of like the initial game design. XCOM is a game where I was just not understanding what I was doing. It seemed there were like a lot of resource management, but then turns out that you just have to develop a little bit of strategy. You have to develop a little bit of kind of like how things work, and by doing that, that kind of sort of helps. It helps to be able to play a game like XCOM more. You don't just pick it up and drop it. That's a game that I just found myself one day just like completely immersed with it. So just because initially you play a game, you don't love it, put it down for a little bit and give it another chance. If you then give it another chance and you're like, oh, this is absolute garbage. I am not playing this game anymore. In fact, Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age, the game that I'm currently streaming, is a game that I have put down because I was kind of put off a little bit by the actual game itself. Plus, losing my save file back then it was just like, well, I'm not going to do all this bull crap again. And guess what? I love that game. I'm playing Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age version of the game, and I'm enjoying it very, very much. So yes, there are many games out there, and you put them down, and then they just never get played again. And Cuphead, the game that I think the most famous game that I played, is a game where I had initially put it away, and then that became the game that I just streamed from the very beginning. So, and history has been made. Well, the next piece of news is it's a little bit of a sad news, which is the Bureau XCOM Declassified. I've never played that one. I'm more into the like the XCOM Enemy Within or Enemy Unknown. Now, why do you hate the Bureau? What is it about that game that you didn't like? In the meantime, we're going to talk a little bit about the remake of System Shock. This is a campaign that was created by Night Dive. Night Dive are excellent. Night Dive are the guys that ported the games Turok Dinosaur Hunter 1 and 2 to the PC. They are an excellent company. They are really, really good. And they're the ones that are making the System Shock remake. And basically they kind of announcing that they are sometimes you need to take a step back in order to take 2 steps forward, which means that they are delaying this game. It's kind of a third-person shooter and not true to the original way XCOM was. Don't alienate your fan base, guys. Don't do it. Unless you're going to make the game better. Unless that, don't do it. In March of 2006, Night Dive Studios released our video of our Vision of System Shock Remastered. Done in Unity, it was an immediate hit with almost 500,000 views on YouTube. In June of 2016, we launched a Kickstarter campaign to make a vision into a reality. It was tremendously successful with over 21,000 backers contributing 1.3 million to the campaign. We put together a development team and we began working on the game. But along the way, something happened. Maybe we were too successful. Maybe we lost our focus. The vision began to change. We based from a remaster to completely new game. We shifted engines from Unity to Unreal, a choice that we do not regret and one that has worked out for us. With the switch, we began envisioning doing more, but straying from the core concepts of the original title. As our concept grew and our team changed, so did the scope and what we were doing, and with that, the budget for the game. As the budget grew, we began a long series of conversations with potential publishing partners. The more that we worked on the game, the more that we wanted to do, and the further we got from the original concepts that made System Shock so great. Ultimately, the responsibility for the decisions rests with me as the CEO and founder of Night Dive Studios, a company that was built on the restoration of the System Shock franchise. I let things get out of control. I can tell you that I did it for the right reasons, that I was totally committed to making a great game, but it has become clear to me that we took the wrong path, that we turned our backs at the very people who made this possible, our Kickstarter backers. I have put the team on a hiatus while we reassess our path so that we can return to our vision. We are taking a break, but not ending the project. Please accept my personal assurance that we will be back and stronger than ever. System Shock is going to be completed and all our promises fulfilled. Stephen Kick. Mr. Saturnite, welcome back. I am delighted that you are here. But okay, so System Shock was getting remastered by Night Dive, and then all of a sudden they got overambitious. The CEO got overambitious, and apparently, unfortunately, it turned the project into something a little it turned the project, unfortunately, a little bit too sour. So basically, 1 second here. Okay, here we go. Okay, so basically, was really successful. Got a bunch of them in the canalization, like in Set Spawner's stream. Well, I'm happy to hear that. I'm sure Mr. Matt Bevan will like hearing that too. But anyway, what we were saying was that basically, when you get a project and it becomes like all this attention goes to it, all of a sudden they want to make a whole bunch of things. And basically, this is what happened. They got too overambitious and they dove in into too much stuff. And unfortunately, this is the price. Now their vision is all scattered, and now the game has to be on hiatus. But hopefully they'll be back. Night Dive is a great studio. I know that they'll get their feet back in and they'll finish the game. And I'm very happy and I'm very satisfied that he came to explain what happened. Many companies, they take your money. Many Kickstarters take your money and they go away. There's a person that has done 6 Kickstarters and has not delivered on anything. 6 Kickstarters. 6! That makes no sense. But anyway, who wants to watch a video? This video is an original trailer. This is from Game Explain. We're going to talk more about cardboard. Yay! Yes, 6 games, 6 projects. See, the thing is that this guy, actually, you know what? Before I do, if you guys want to see that video, hold on. Let me. I actually want to. Yeah, this is. I'm gonna post this video for you guys to watch later. But basically, this is this is, I'm gonna post it on the chat. This is the a video done by Daniel Iverson. But basically this is a game. This is basically like this is like a guy who's been in movies, who's also this geek who wanted to do these movies, these projects, and he fell through all of them. And then he had other companies and he made Kickstarters, and then he fell through those as well too. He hasn't delivered a promise to anyone. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Nintendo LABO, guys. Who's ready to watch?
Nintendo LABO Variety Kit. Right out of the box, Nintendo LABO offers many cardboard sheets and the game software. With these sheets, you can make your own cardboard toy controllers. Toy-Con creations come in a variety of shapes with different activities to enjoy.
Yes.
So, without further ado, let's get our hands on the 5 different Toy-Con projects you can make with the Variety Kit.
Okay, so they're going to talk about the variety at which he wants to plant an artistic...
First up, the Toy-Con RC car.
An RC car. Okay.
Touch the screen to steer it however you like. The secret lies in the 8 the car can turn left.
Number 1, that thing is not a car. Number 2, that thing is not a car.
Open this up and you can see all the hidden functionalities packed in there. This footage shows you what the Toy-Con RC car sees. There's actually a little camera hiding right here. It allows the RC car to steer itself by recognizing visual markers. And it can even see in the dark.
Yeah, but look at the quality of that camera. It's not that good. It's like a Raspberry Pi camera, but worse.
If you have 2 sets of Joy-Con controllers, you can battle a friend. Oh yeah, you may have noticed some bonus parts. The kit includes a bunch of these things. Next up, the Toy-Con fishing rod.
You could also buy a fishing pole and take your kids fishing too. That can help too.
And the ocean, of course. When you extend the rod,
I do like the rod. That's a pretty cool cardboard fishing rod.
and spin the reel, the hook will slowly descend. If you tilt the rod, your movement will be reflected on the screen.
Okay, that is cool.
A bite? Quick! When you feel a vibration, pull back. Then carefully reel in the goods. Nice catch.
$70.
The ocean is home to many fish of various shapes and sizes. From the shallows to the darkest depths, the fish you can catch will vary.
You know, you could also buy Subnautica, a game that lets you go deeper and deeper underwater. Which, by the way, I do plan on playing Subnautica and stream it.
Huh? The big fish ate the little fish.
Yes! Isn't that incredible? Isn't that incredible? It is a lot of hype.
After fishing,
Yes, while fighting for your life, you're the little fish. In Subnautica, you're the little fish. Oh, it's $50. I'm sorry. I think no. You know what? It is $50. The robot is $70. You're absolutely right. Thank you for the clarification. I'm sorry. Yes, it is. You are correct. But yes. I think it's more for kids. This thing is all for kids.
using the Toy-Con piano in aquarium mode.
Oh.
Somehow, you can even create your own fish.
Oh my god, it's Spore. They've remade the game Spore.
Now, let's
Okay, see, that part is cool. Okay, you making your own fish, I think that's pretty cool.
check out the Toy-Con house. A Apparently, a mysterious creature has moved in.
What the flying fuck is that? Ew! It's like a sheep monster. Its eyes are also its mouth. What are you doing?
Toy-Con house, or shake things up, and watch what happens inside. Grab hold of these blocks and stick them through the windows to make an impact.
Ew.
The button block.
Okay, see that is pretty cool. I'm sorry. That one was pretty cool. I can see that kids would really love playing with this thing.
It's nighttime now. The crank block.
Okay. I stand impressed.
Aw, it went to sleep. The key block. Hey, the room's flooding.
You if you do that, you kill your sheep monster because there's a television behind him. It is a little bit, but honestly, it comes with the technology that comes in with it, the sensors, the little strips, the wires, the development of the actual game itself, of the software. It is. This is still going to be like the Christmas thing. Christmas gifts have been confirmed for them. Yeah, a Switch for kids. This would be totally freaking awesome. And also it is overpriced for maybe me and you. This is all stuff that's only for kids. But you know what? To get them this to get started. Actually, Plastic Gundam's actually not a bad alternative, but I think maybe Plastic Gundams might actually be a little too complex. But you know what? That's still good. I used to do model cars. I used to paint model cars. I used to do model cars with my dad, and I think this is actually a really good technologic alternative to that. I do think, however, if you're a Switch owner or you're going to buy a Switch just for you and you're older than 8, no. I think this is good for the makers.
The cable block. What's this? They're connected? If you change windows, the effect will change too. And if you combine different blocks, the room changes. The Toy-Con house is full of mysterious mechanisms.
Okay, you know what? I have to admit that for kids, this is pretty freaking awesome. This is actually pretty cool.
Racing along, it's the Toy-Con motorbike.
You could also get Mario Kart.
Squeeze the handle, rev up the engine.
6 siblings. Wow. Okay, so 6. Wow, Mr. Bonebreaker. This thing here is gonna be pretty freaking awesome for those siblings. I think getting Mario Kart might actually be better.
And steer just like a real bike. Drift into a dash, or even pop a wheelie.
Wow, you could be totally
challenge the Grand Prix.
You could be totally cool and gnarly and awesome.
For victory on the circuits. If you use the Toy-Con scanner, the terrain will rise in the shape of the scanned object. So get creative with your very own stadium.
Whoa! Okay, hold on. What was that again?
If you use the Toy-Con scanner, the terrain will rise in the shape of the scanned object. So get creative with your very own stadium.
Okay. That is awesome. That is awesome. That is freaking awesome. The scan something and it turns it into your terrain. That is awesome. That is freaking awesome. I'm sorry. That is awesome. That is absolutely awesome.
If you draw paths in the air with this Toy-Con mini bike, an original circuit will be created in that exact shape.
What?
You draw paths in the air with this Toy-Con mini bike, an original circuit will be created in that exact shape.
Oh.
Choose road width, slope, time of day, weather, and where to place dash items. All of these options can be customized whenever you want.
Okay. Oh, stop right there. Stop right there. This is freaking awesome. I'm sorry. Oh my God. Dude. Yeah. Video games are poison for children and trains them to become sociopaths going on a killing spree. Yes. And also, that thing looks like a gun. And you know what happens when you give a gun to a video gamer? Do you know what happens? Do you know what happens, Mr. Bonebreaker? Do you know what happens? You know what happens? Do you want to know? Nothing. Nothing happens. Ever. This is awesome, though. Oh my God.
White knuckle races on your very own circuit.
Wow, totally cool. No, actually, this is freaking awesome.
Toy-Con piano. Press a key and a note will chime. Gently rock it while you play a sound for a little vibrato.
I'm not gonna shake the piano to give it bravado. Yes, this lets them be incredibly creative, and I did not think that this would be something that would just the house alone, but this the racing game, oh my God, that's like Trackmania. You're basically playing Trackmania. You can make your own tracks on Trackmania, but you can make them here on the Switch. It's pretty cool.
Insert a knob to hear cats, choir, grandpas. Your sound, your call. Acoustic mode plays sounds using the Joy-Con controller's vibrations. Who knew an empty box can make music?
Okay. What? Okay. This is better than Minecraft. Oh, you're gonna make a lot of people angry, Mr. Bonebreaker. But you know what? Minecraft does offer a lot of what a game like a system like LABO does, but I think that the LABO does it better in interactivity, in simplicity. You don't have to learn about the blocks. You don't have to learn about the pickaxes. You don't have to learn about redstone mining, redstone circuitry. This is sort of like a gateway drug to get into games like Minecraft. This is really awesome.
Let's check out the recording studio. Here you can adjust the envelope, reverb, octave,
wow,
more to modify the sound. You can even cut your own waveforms to make your own sounds. If you make a rhythm with a rhythm card, the piano will play itself. If you play melodies one after another, you can make your own original songs.
What?
Conduct your own song with the baton.
Okay, see, that's a little lame. You know what that reminds me of? When they introduced Wii Music on E3. And you see Shigeru Miyamoto just flailing the Wii remote like, see, this is incredible. Yeah. Oh, okay, man. Well, have fun. No, this is really cool. You can make music, for God's sake.
The Variety Kit. 5 different Toy-Con projects.
I am very impressed. Absolutely very impressed. This is incredible. I mean, I grew up playing stuff like this, like games like, heck, Math Blaster. That was what I was playing back then. Math Blaster on DOS. Math Blaster. That's how I learned how to do better with math. But anyway, here's something that's a little, but yes, this is, I'm just blown away. This is really, really awesome. Every time I see the Labo, I am just more impressed of what you could actually do with, I mean, I'm thinking, okay, this is for kids. This is incredible. This looks incredible. This does just absolutely fantastic. Of course, I'm not going to get it, but hey, there's more on the Switch. This is not for children! This is for grown men!
Climax action.
Oh my god, these games. Oh my lord.
Bayonetta 2 on Nintendo Switch.
It's incredible. Thank you.
Vicious Vixen once knew nothing of her past save that she was blessed with incredible abilities.
And her heart is mine.
Brutal creatures stand in her way. Angels from Paradiso and demons from Inferno.
Oh my god. Oh my lord.
To restore balance to the world,
You must kill everyone.
fight against impossible odds.
Oh, they're not impossible. She could totally do it.
As deadly as she is beautiful. Bullet Art's fighting style utilizes weapons on her hands and feet.
But remember, this degrades women, and this will make you into a sexist. And Matt Bevin says that games like this desensitize you from, you know, treating women with respect. Don't play these games.
For individual attacks and devastating combos. Activate Witch Time after a perfect dodge to slow time itself. So
Oh my god, this is incredible. I've never played Bayonetta 2. I want this game so badly.
Fill the magic gauge to access over-the-top torture attacks.
Hell yeah.
After all, her enemies have been very naughty. And she's got even more tricks up her sleeve.
I love this game so much.
And unleash them to overwhelm the fiercest foes. Bayonetta 2 introduces another ability to her arsenal. Umbran Climax.
Oh, yeah.
Climax to summon a truly sadistic demon to battle at Bayonetta's side.
Ooh, baby.
Customize Bayonetta's attacks by modifying her weapons loadout.
Oh my god, this game is so incredible. I am so...
Experiment to find your favorite combinations.
Oh my god, this game. I played this game on PC just a few months ago.
Enjoy intuitive touch controls in handheld mode. In the Bayonetta 2 game,
What did he do in handheld mode?
enjoy intuitive touch controls in handheld mode.
What did you do in handheld mode?
In the Bayonetta
I didn't
2
see
game,
what you did.
tap any amiibo figure to get hooked up with useful items. Some will even unlock special costumes and weapons too.
Oh no. Bayonetta's wearing the Samus suit. Oh, okay. Oh my lord, that is
Tag climax
awesome.
Working as a deadly duo is more your speed.
Oh, you can play in 2 players.
You might enjoy taking Jean for a spin. This
Oh.
Nintendo Switch release of Bayonetta 2 supports both online and local multiplayer.
Oh.
Do you naughty little angels deserve a good spanking?
Oh, yes, they do. You're so filthy, Bayonetta. Spank them.
I'm gonna go straight for each other's
Oh my god, this game is
All that
just...
sleeping made you soft. You've quite a familiar face. Do we know each other?
God.
My colleagues laugh at me for chasing fairy tales, but I know they're real. I know the truth.
Oh
I'm
my.
sorry. I forgot to mention one of the reasons I hunt your kind. You're much too ugly not to put out of your misery. I'm not one for pets who don't listen to them.
Oh.
Dead witches get dragged to hell. John's gonna wander Inferno suffering for eternity.
And what will happen to our planet? Those are the truths I'm after.
Oh dear Jesus Christ. Dear God in heaven. And there's a third game, by the way. There's a third game. There's a third game, by the way. This. Oh dear God.
Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2 for Nintendo Switch. Available now.
Let's dance, boys.
Available now. They're both available now. And I don't have a Switch. Dang it. But yes, that was a look at, yeah, Bayonetta 3 definitely coming. And yes, it is definitely showing up here. So we actually got to go through a couple of more videos here. So would you like, Mr. Bonebreaker, to see the other pack? This is another one featuring the Labo. This is talking about the robot kit now. This is the $70 one. So this goes into a little more detail of that.
Right out of the box, Nintendo LABO offers many cardboard sheets and the game software. With these sheets, you can make your own cardboard toy controllers. Toy-Con creations come in a variety of shapes with different activities to enjoy. But the Toy-Con robot is the most advanced of them all. The Toy-Con robot suit is wearable. First, wear the visor on your head.
Oh my God, you make your own VR headset with cardboard.
Strap the main body on your back, and your feet slide into the robot's shoes.
That looks dangerous.
Then, grip the robot arms, and you're ready to roll.
Yes, I think your siblings will fight for sure for this.
Extend your arm to punch. Stomp your feet to walk. And tilt your body left or right to change direction.
But where do you walk to?
Pilot the robot? No, become the robot. Direct buildings. Cars. And spaceships. Launch everything and go for a high score.
This is like Blast Corps. This is like freaking Blast Corps again.
Spread your arms to enter flight mode.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool.
It may lead you to some new discoveries. And if you crouch, you'll turn into a tank.
You're a tank!
You can shoot beams. Lower the visor to enter first-person mode.
What? Okay, so every single time they present something like this,
Buildings
I've just
crumble before your eyes.
oh man.
What's that pose? Giant fighting robot, anyone?
But you're already a giant robot. Oh wow.
Learn new moves and freely control the robot.
This okay.
Charge punch, you can build up energy to release a long-range attack in one big blast.
Wow. Actually, this is all really, really cool. This is like kids are gonna go bonkers for this.
Spread your arms to enter
Okay, this is
now for the big one. Lower the visor, aim, and thrust both arms forward to unleash a special beam. As you clear missions, your power will grow.
so this is actually not just like this is
hangar, you can change the
like a
robot's
lot
color
of
by
game. This is like it has its own games in there. It's like it's not just a demo or a tech demo. This.
looking pretty sweet already.
Oh, okay.
Robo Studio mode, you can place your Nintendo Switch console inside the Toy-Con robot and make sounds as you move. Imagine the possibilities.
Okay, see, that is lame as fuck. Yes, this is a town demolition simulator. Matt Bevin, go to Nintendo. Stop them from making this abomination of a game. You're gonna make people go and destroy buildings.
If you make 2 Toy-Con robots, you and a friend can battle. Who built the better bot? There's only one way to find out. Enjoy your Toy-Con robot to the fullest. Every mode. This is
much more than I thought it was going to be, actually. I'm very, very impressed. These is insta-ban in every country. Oh yeah. Because remember, video games are what causes all the problems everywhere.
Nintendo LABO.
Everywhere. See, this is again another example of Nintendo showing how what looked to be like a concept that seemed like kind of childish at first, which it is kind of childish, but it's not just a tech demo. These are actually like full-blown games that are being made with the software. So it's not like you build a robot, you're in with the robot a little bit, and then that's it. No, they want you to. This is the way that you play with this, and obviously you have to be more careful because this isn't as much of a toy. This you could break this thing. You could break this thing really easy. So, but anyway, let's go to the last video of the day, which we are going to look into violence. Violence. Saturday night, look away. This is violence.
What's up, everyone? Brandon Tyrell here with IGN, and today we're going to look at a few of the new features coming to Far Cry 5.
I was actually very curious about this because I myself may get this game, but I've played Half-Life 3 and 4 religiously, and I think those 2 games are just way too similar, so I'm not sure if this game offered anything new. So, well, looking at this.
Now, the Far Cry series is known for a couple things it does really well. A big open world with lots of character, complicated villains that anchor an engaging and sometimes morally complex story, and lots of different ways to explore the world and take on its challenges. But one of the biggest questions going into the March 27th release of Far Cry 5 is just what exactly it does differently from Far Cry 3.
Whoa! Oh! Turn away! Don't look! Don't look!
That's a fair question. While a lot of Far Cry 5 will be familiar to fans of the series, I don't personally consider that a bad thing. After all, if the playbook works, and these games are fun and commercially successful, so it seems like the playbook is working, you don't need to rewrite it completely. Now, we'll have to wait until the game's released to answer all of our questions.
Yes, you watch. Matt Bevin is going to... he's going to ban this game, guys. He's going to ban this game. This will make you go out and shoot a school, guys.
I wanted to take the opportunity to highlight some of the new things.
Oh, God, that is awesome.
You can expect to find in Hope County, Montana. So let's get to it. Now, first and foremost, the biggest change in Far Cry 5 is its non-linearity. Hope County is comprised of 3 main regions.
Wait. The other games are not linear either.
Each ruled by a member of the Seed family, John, Jacob, and Faith. Now, from your first step into the game, you can head in any direction you want.
3 counties.
Any member of the family you feel like. And since many of the main story missions are triggered when you build up enough resistance in a specific region, you can pick and choose where to advance the story by doing a number of activities that both liberate the people or dismantle the cult activity in a specific region. And as you build resistance, regions become more difficult. For example, in my playthrough, by the second story beat in John Seed's region, I'd actually angered him enough that he sent out his squadron of cult fighter pilots called the Chosen. So at this point, you can press on and deal with the constant threat.
Oh, wow.
Or go do other things in other regions and come back when you're better prepared.
Okay, Z, that is cool. How can people think it's fun? Well, it's because it gives you more options to do. Matt, Bevin, play one of these games. You'll actually like this game. Honestly.
Bottom line, you're not forced to do anything in any order, and it's a big improvement over the straight line of story missions in past games and having to capture towers to open an area.
Oh no, this is depicting, this I don't like. I feel triggered because it's depicting the country people of my state as a bunch of gun-wielding, gun-toting Christians. This ain't us, no, Claytors.
And speaking of towers, they're a thing of the past. In Far Cry 5, rather than heading toward an area, capturing a tower to open up side content around it,
right,
and then repeating this process over and over, you just don't have to do that anymore. The new intel system in Far Cry 5 takes the place of this mechanic, where simply exploring and wandering the world reveals intel points that highlight points of interest or activities for you to do.
Thank you! Thank you! Thank you very much! Thank you! You have taken away the monotony of having to climb a tower and unlock it on the map. Thank you! You are learning!
For example, when talking to a resident of Hope County, they might tell you about a secret stash for you to go find. Or if you spot a sign with a mountain lion on it, it could reveal locations of them on your map. Basically, you'll be getting information about the world as you play it organically.
Oh, that is awesome! Oh, yes, thank you!
Rather than liberating a tower and getting one big info dump at a time. The more that I played Far Cry 5, I found this to be a much more engaging way to interact with the world, because I kept getting pleasantly distracted every 10 minutes when I hear about something cool I wanted to go check out. For me, it's definitely a positive change.
Oh,
let's talk about just a few of the new toys you'll be using to liberate Montana.
Oh, that is awesome.
Now, right off the bat, pun intended, of course, the new melee weapons add a pretty gratifying way to bash your way through the cult.
Ouch.
Again, pun intended. Now,
Ouch.
I personally used a baseball bat and a pipe, but my favorite was the shovel. Let's just say hitting cultist fanatics in the face with a shovel is way more satisfying than it probably should be.
Oh man, you just got fucked up with a shovel.
The ones I used, the Mac 11 or Uzi was probably my favorite.
Uzis!
It's an awesome little bullet hose with an irresistible panache. Oh, and there's a new smoke grenade, which is always handy, and the always reliable stick of dynamite, which is pretty self-explanatory. Now, in the vein of vehicles, we'll be diving into them a little more in depth later this month. But Far Cry 5 brings with it a number of cool new toys. From classic muscle cars to big rig trucks.
Yeah, we gotta go to the middle of Montana. Oh my God, we get to go into the middle of Montana and we get to ride all over our county, and we get to kill all them people, kill all them colored folk too.
Standard and armed with machine guns. And of course,
the Shovel Knight.
Far Cry 5 adds honest-to-goodness planes and helicopters that are
Truck Simulator's here too.
Really satisfying just to see how big and sprawling Montana is from the air.
Oh my God, I want.
But hey, maybe you just want to take it easy and do some fishing. Well, you can do that too in Far Cry 5. And I found it's actually really peaceful to take a breather from the fiery destruction all around you and just hook some fish.
You can go fly fishing. Oh my God, you could actually do. We were just talking about fishing a second ago.
Like Ron Swanson says, fishing is relaxing. It's like yoga, but you still get to kill something.
Oh dear God, this is awesome.
And though I'm not supposed to talk about it just yet, you will be able to customize your character in Far Cry 5. Though I can't get into details, you might be asking, but why would you care about customizing your character in a first-person game? Well, that brings me to my next point. Everything in Far Cry 5 is co-op friendly. Every mission, every activity, everything you'll be able to do with a buddy. If you want to, you don't have to, but you can, which is an incredibly cool way to experience.
This is a co-op game.
So, is Far Cry 5 going to completely break the mold of what a Far Cry game is? Probably not, which is fine to me, because it's got a solid blueprint for an enjoyable sandbox adventure. But these are just some of the new things I noticed in the 15 hours I got to spend with it that are going to mix things
This isn't bad.
If you're interested in Far Cry 5 and you want to see more of our deep dive into it as our IGN First Game of the Month, you might want to check out our 4K look at taking on an outpost with 3 different playstyles.
Okay.
Our in-depth look at John
This
C.
is actually really, really awesome. I did not think that Far Cry had more to offer, but there you go. I'm actually really impressed. Well, we're coming to the end. So we're going to talk about these a little quicker. But that's the essential. I think I'm going to be getting Far Cry 5, and I think I'm going to be streaming myself playing it. That's if I finish this game. If I finish Final Fantasy, I'm going to finish Final Fantasy. So, but anyway, according to Kotaku, we're gonna go through these last ones. In Kotaku, there's a modder that makes 6,000 a month adding drugs to The Sims 4. Now, this is pretty freaking awesome. Philip, who only wanted to use his first name, said he first downloaded The Sims 4 in May and last year to try and make a virtual model of his kitchen while he and his wife were making renovations on their house. He is not a Sims player and soon discovered that he wasn't able to use the game to simulate different ways to change up the kitchen. When he stumbled upon some drug-related custom content, however, he started getting more interested in the game. He found drug-themed clutter objects and lines of cocaine and bongs, but none of them were usable, although it didn't have much programming experience. He wondered if he could modify these objects so that they could become more than just decorational. During a call, he told me that he started making a mod that allowed a sim to snort a line of cocaine. Matt Bevan, look away! Look away, Matt! This is not for you. Oh, wow. For the past 6 months, Philip has been working on Basemental, a drug-themed mod for The Sims 4. It includes 4 different drugs, cocaine, MDMA, amphetamines, and weed that Sims can buy, sell, and use. In order to use it, you make a Sim with the drug dealer trait and move them into your neighborhood to act as an NPC to other Sims can buy from. Sims can also buy from the dark web on their computers. Once Sims have drugs in their inventory, they can use them. Sometimes autonomously, Sims experience both the peaks and valleys of drug use. They'll get high, but also come down and have hangovers. They can have fatal and non-fatal overdoses and form addictions. If you're using Wicked Whims, a complexive sex mod for The Sims 4, they can also engage sex for drugs when they're desperate. Oh my fucking Jesus. Oh my lord, Matt, look away, Matt. This is not for you. This is not for kids. I've always been a creative person. I produce music, do graphic design, all that stuff, he said. For me, it's just a new arena to be creative, but in a completely different manner than producing music or whatever. This is awesome. This is freaking awesome. I am happy. Okay. All right. I'm going to get to party. These aren't stories you could tell an unmodded version of The Sims. Okay. It is not surprising that the mod is a hit amongst players after Philip released the first version on Lovers Lab, a forum for erotic sim mods. Another modder suggested that he made a Patreon. His highest goal was 500. As of this writing, Philip makes over 6,000 from donations a month, and he says the mod has been translated by fans into other languages. It's really nice to get not just great feedback from people that love playing with it, but also some money back from it, which obviously inspires me to just keep working on it. His approach to implementing features is pretty thoughtful. When his subscribers asked him to add a drug dealing career, he knew that he didn't want it to be a normal career where Sims will disappear to a rabbit hole for a set period of time. Instead, Sims who deal drugs can have other careers, then sell drugs in their side gig, making additional cash from friendly Sims who need a fix. I think it works a lot better having it this way, he said. They will also get annoyingly a lot of phone calls from customers. Oh my god, this is incredible. This is awesome. Good job, sir. Good job, sir. I applaud you. I applaud you. Obviously, Matt Bevan is gonna use this mod as a of course, this doesn't make you want to go do drugs. Obviously, that's not how the world works. But the fact that he makes a mod and he's getting paid for it is absolutely freaking incredible. I'm going to add a list to below. And for those of you who even care, Konami, one of the most evil companies on the planet, they're releasing a second beta. Yay! Well, that's all I have to say to you, Konami. And Steam has released their Lunar Year sale, which will go up until tomorrow, which I just realized this right now. And that's actually really cool. As you could see the picture, there's a bunch of dogs, including Okami, including Dog from the Half-Life game. Stop teasing us, Gaben! But there you go. And I think this is the last story of the day, and this is a Spyro Trilogy remaster. It's coming to PlayStation 4. I heard that this was a rumor, but apparently this looks like it's getting made. Looks like multiple sources are saying that Activision is currently working on a Spyro Dragon Trilogy remaster, kind of similar to the Crash Bandicoot remake trilogy that came out, and it's aiming to come, that it will be announced on March 2008, and it'll arrive around Q3 of 2008, and they are also compared to the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy, which features new assets, lighting, animations, cinematics, as well as a remastered track. It will also feature updates to the save feature, much like occurred in the Crash remaster. It is also going to include Spyro the Dragon, Ripto's Revenge, and Year of the Dragon. The Spyro remaster will be announced for PlayStation 4 with PlayStation 4 Pro support sometime in March of 2008. It doesn't say that, while the announcement will not be a part of March, the game will be on a 1-year timed exclusive for PlayStation 4 before it can apparently be ported to other systems. Apparently, the Crash Bandicoot Insane is tied to a similar 1-year deal exclusivity. Okay, so that means that I can actually get this game later. Maybe on the PC, but it's exclusive for 1 year only. So anyway, that is the last of the reports. We're going up about to 2 hours, so I'm going to end this very, very soon. We touched upon this. This is the fire fades in terms of dealing with burnout with game development. I'm going to be touching with this a little bit here because I've been reading this little by little, and it's kind of depressing. I'm going to read a little bit of an excerpt from here, from this part. It says, I got thrown into the deep end and found myself trying to code multiple games by myself in a short amount of time, without any real guidance. This is what someone called Kwang Nguyen of UK dev Asobi Tech said. As time went on, the time pressures grew and grew as each milestone had to be reached, regardless of the various issues I was running into due to my inexperience. I went from working from home to moving into a small bed and breakfast so that I could be closer to the office, meaning I could code from the first thing in the morning to the very last thing at night. Rinse and repeat. My burnout spiral began when I felt like my experience as a teacher wasn't being recognized by my peers. Whether this was true or not doesn't quite matter. I decided to work on games outside of my regular 9 to 5 hours, says Jennifer Sherrill of Opaque Space. I keep taking on more and more gigs outside of my full-time job to seek legitimacy, and I never felt like it was quite doing as well or as much as others in the industry. A lot of regional awards and official recognitions include questions on what a person does besides the regular job. Example, AEG 30 under 30 lists. So there's a general consensus on asking people to work more than your regular 40 hours a week. On the worst nights, I would lay in bed with my laptop, glowing with Gamer Maker open. This is what James Earl Cox III from Seamlessly Pointless Games says. I was trying to sleep with it next to me, hoping that maybe I would wake up refreshed and ready to code something, but but it's mostly existed as a reminder that I wasn't making anything anymore. There was an overwhelming wall of guilt. I'd fall asleep in a panic and wake up in the same way, one day closer to whatever trivial deadline I was currently dreading. Now, every single time, I'm going to be reading a little bit about this article because this is a 2-page article. So I'm going to be reading this little by little every time I do one of these game live casts. So just to show you that burnout does happen to all of us. And when you're in the gaming industry, a lot of people say, well, what the heck did they know about suffering? Trust me when I tell you, I'm not myself mad at the developers, unless of course you're Bungie or some developers that you intentionally screw with us. But honestly, I do recognize that there's sacrifices that go into making. These are people that work more than 8 hours a day, like I do. They work more than that, and they sometimes don't have a life. They don't have holidays. They don't have vacation. They have deadlines all over the place. It's terrible. Which is why I'm so happy I didn't pursue game development. I rather just talk about games and play them, and that's a lot more fun. But anyway, guys, I'm going to let you all go here, and I'm going to leave you with a little bit more. As such as, for example, this is the boom arm that I'm using. This is the Samson MBA28. This is a 28-inch boom arm. This is about 2.5 feet. So far, this is doing really great. Doing wonderful job here. And I got it for $30 at Sam Ash. This is its normal regular price, but the guy at the counter said it cost $30, and that was it. Now, you might have noticed that you saw this as well too. This is a countdown timer that I decided to make. Obviously, this is a little off-centered, which I do have to fix that. But if you notice, I could actually make this timer go off. So this is how I did it, and I did it using getting help with this video. This is a video from a channel that I would recommend everybody that's going to stream get subscribed to. This is the Gaming Careers. This is Gaming Careers, and this video was done in 2017, just last year. This is about adding a countdown timer for Twitch, and you could tell it's kind of old because it says YouTube Gaming. Well, he goes over 10 minutes discussing how to do this. Well, I am going to teach you how to do this. So basically, what I did was I'm not going to go into too deeply, but basically I use an application that's called Snaz. And there's an option here which you could add the output format here. So it says countdown here, and basically you just put the time there, and then you basically increase. Okay, what do you want to do? Okay, so you want to put it like to be at 1300. Okay, so we're gonna make it so that it's exactly at 1 o'clock, and then you tell it what you want it to happen when it gets done. So then you take this file that gets created, and then you go into your program, into OBS or SLOBS, and then you add this file as a file, as a text plus file, and then or I think it's called let me see what it's called here. It's called a text GDI plus. And then what you do is you start the timer, and then you notice, okay, it's ticking. And then what you do is you open up the application, you open up Snaz, and then you go to your application, and there it is. Super easy. This guy explains it so much better than I do. This is like a simple way to add a little bit of a timer. You could even add it so that you could include the zeros, but I just decided to include that. Obviously, this is it also has an option to play a sound when it's done. This is actually really cool. I just learned how to do this. I did it a few days ago. I modified this to just be showing up down here below. So I'm gonna add the link to the video. The video itself also includes a link to even animated backgrounds that you can add, but I decided to keep it more like the red and white theme that I'm going here until I decide to later change it. This is kind of what I like to do. It's got the same text. You can change the text of the countdown, and I thought this was really cool. So there it is, folks. I've added a countdown, and I've added a boom arm that I love dearly and cherish with all of my heart. And I will continue to do this. I will continue to improve upon my stream. So guys, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. This is truly the end for today's live cast. What I'm going to do is today I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a couple of hours. I'm going to go I'm thinking the next time that I'm going to stream is going to be 4 hours from now, 4 to 5 hours from now. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, because I want to go have some lunch, and I also want to go watch Black Panther. Black Panther just got released, and I want to definitely, I want to go see that movie. So, so basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and say, so when is Wednesday? Oh, you know what? The Wednesday live cast, I actually have a doctor's appointment. So the Wednesday live cast might have to be either postponed or will have to be done on a different day, postponed, or it'll be done later that day. So, but yeah, man, I'm so happy. I mean, it's improving little by little. I'm gonna go watch Black Panther, have some lunch, and then later today I'm going to resume with Final Fantasy 12, the Zodiac Age. So you guys have been awesome. Thank you for joining me in. If you guys if you guys like what I'm doing, share it with people that you stream with, or people you know with, so they can follow me up here. As you can see, I got a little thing down below, which is weird because it says I've got 41 subscribers, but when I go to my Twitch, it says I have 39 subscribers, which means whatever. But anyway, I do plan on sharing all of this below. My Discord server is almost done. I'm almost got everything. I'm gonna look over other servers to see if there's anything I'd like to add in there. Perhaps maybe the join in later. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let y'all go here. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have an awesome day today. And I really do enjoy doing this. So if you guys like this, I would recommend just also following me on Twitter and on the Facebook page, so you know when I do post like announcements, whether I'm going to be streaming at what times, and also if I'm going to not be streaming at all. So guys, you have yourselves a great day, and I'll be back. So take it easy, guys. Peace. And I will be restarting the timer here. I'm gonna say, what's the 21st? What's the 21st? And then put it around 8. Tentative. Take it easy, guys.